So there's an interesting app called StatMuse, and they give you really interesting stats. And one of them the other day, I look at it every day. I like data, I like numbers, and it was really interesting. Regardless of your opinion on Kyrie Irving, and I have a very low opinion of him, I said last year multiple times, he's the only star I can ever remember in my life that I would trade for rotational pieces. I think he's a coach killer, a culture killer. But it's interesting. If you look at the Brooklyn Nets this season, according to StatMuse, in the 8 games with Kyrie, they won 2 times and had the 29th best defense. In the 4 games without him, they had 3 wins and were first in defense. And by the way, with him, 18th in offense. Without him, 7th in offense. It's interesting, right? We view him as such a magical offensive presence. But one of the things that's always been really off-putting to me about Kyrie, he's not a good distributor. Steph Curry is, Chris Paul is that Kyrie is that guy we've all played with at the YMCA. You give it to him on the wing and you never get the ball back. Is that Kyrie, to me, is not a winning player. He's just a really gifted player. And, if you told me I get Kyrie or Westbrook as a player, I'd take Kyrie because it's more of a shooter's league. But Kyrie is so poor defensively, and his assist totals are so low. This has been one of my knocks on Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard gets you a bucket and gets you a stop, but he's not readily available to play. He doesn't elevate others. He doesn't pass the ball. And I think the greatest gift that LeBron has ever given us is his ability to elevate everybody he's ever played with. Kyrie, and the StatMuse has it right, Kyrie elevates Kyrie. Kevin Durant gives you an effort on the defensive end. Kevin Durant, willing to distribute. Kevin Durant, a great closer. But the difference between Kevin Durant and Kyrie isn't just they're both offensively gifted or the size. It's just to make the NBA, even defensive specialists in college to the NBA can score. Bruce Bowen was a good college scorer. You can't give up 26 on the defensive end. And StatMuse, it's a very interesting site that Brooklyn is better offensively and significantly better defensively when Kyrie's not on the floor. We fall in love with talent in basketball. In football, we don't. We just fall in love with wins. Like if a player doesn't help you win, fans don't want him. Media doesn't want him. Coaches don't want him. But there is this sort of mythology with Kyrie, is that, boy, Kyrie's a winning player. He's really a losing player who's really talented. I was thinking about this with OBJ and the Cowboys, which I talked about this week. A perfect illustration of why the Cowboys should go for it with OBJ is Matt Stafford and the Rams. So Matt Stafford is on the market. He said he was unhappy. And 3 or 4 or 6 or 7 teams make a run at him. And the Rams land him. Okay? But even with Stafford, he had some hot and cold Sundays. So they go and make a move for OBJ in season. They make a move for Von Miller in season. And those two were key, essential pieces. No question. Because they're both gone now and the Rams aren't the same team. They were essential pieces to win a Super Bowl. So think about that. Even if the Rams acquired Matt Stafford, had they not also aggressively landed Von Miller and OBJ, this morning, they're a team without a Super Bowl and a quarterback in Stafford that's had a bad year and is entering concussion protocol. That would be no better than Jared Goff. In fact, Goff at least stayed mostly healthy. So the Rams, there's no point in going almost all in. Stafford is going almost all in. But they identified they needed more juice beyond Cooper Kupp and Van Jefferson. They identified Aaron Donald with double teams. Let's add an edge rusher. So you don't do those moves. You got Stafford, who's all banged up, having a disappointing season, and you still don't have first-round picks. So the Cowboys are close. This is something the Packers have always thought they're good enough. That's why they have won Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. The Cowboys are good enough to win playoff games. I think they're probably good enough to win 2. But remember, they're a wild card team. That's what they're going to be as of today. You go on that road, just need some extra juice. And, this is a team that has been historically pretty aggressive, trades, acquisitions, free agent market, maybe all started by Jerry Jones. But if Phillies makes a move, they did. Minnesota makes a move, they did. Niners make a move. Buffalo makes a move. Kansas City makes a move. If you truly believe you're in that class, those teams, Buffalo's favored to win the Super Bowl. Kansas City's favored. Philadelphia's favored to win the NFC today on the betting markets. And they're still making moves. So the Rams are a great example that people thought Stafford's going all in. No. Stafford gets you right on the door. It was Von Miller and OBJ that is all in. Dallas has to spend whatever it takes to get OBJ. He is just the kind of player that can make a handful of plays, just a handful, to win you that second or third playoff game. I don't talk a lot of baseball in the offseason, but I think the Aaron Judge market is fascinating. It's down to the Yankees, Dodgers, and San Francisco Giants. And something I've noticed in my profession, radio, podcasting, television, and you see it in movies, that there's a reason like Disney now wants to make 8 to 10 movies a year. Either they make $1 billion or we're not interested in making the movie. There's only a handful of players, non-pitchers in baseball, that can actually lead you on winning streaks, lead you to playoff wins. Bryce Harper, we saw it in Philadelphia. He led them to the World Series. Now, in the end, great pitching, Houston beats great hitting, Philadelphia. But what you're seeing all over these platforms, the top 1% pay whatever it takes. Everything else floats. Everything else is movable. Everything else is transactional. The Dodgers draw over 10,000 more fans per game than the second best drawing team in Major League Baseball. That probably gains them 81 games, $75, $80 per person into Dodger Stadium, 10,000 on average more a night, about $8 million a year, maybe 10 depending on beer prices, parking, $10 million a year. That's Aaron Judge money. You just add that over the course of 4 or 5 years, that number is going to go up. So the Dodgers led baseball last year in attendance by 10,000 per game. Probably 12 to 13,000 per game, better than second place with Aaron Judge. He's the kind of guy that's going to get people to a stadium on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night. Friday night, Saturday night for the Dodgers, those crowds are always great. When A-Rod went to the Yankees, I remember hearing a Yankee executive talk about this. He put people in the stands on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday night. Aaron Judge has a Paul Bunyan quality. There's nobody like him in the sport. Mookie Betts, Mike Trout, really great players. But baseball has like Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge. That's it in terms of putting butts in seats during the week. You have to go for it. These big movie studios now, you make us $1 billion or we're moving off you. Yeah, the independent film actors, raise your own funds. Big boy studios aren't paying for that.